By late afternoon, the sky over Eldhaven was a flat, colorless gray. Inside the Old Stone Tavern, the fires sank to embers, while Marta wiped the tables and Arlen stacked the last of the kindling, hands rough from a day of hauling wood and water. "That will do," Marta said. "Another hour and I'll have to pretend you're on the payroll." "If I work any more," Arlen replied, "people will think I live here." "Eldhaven keeps who it chooses," she said. "The rest are only passing through." Her words brushed against the memory that had followed him all day, the slow, distant singing that had woken him in the night. "That hill behind the square," he asked. "Is there a path up?" Marta paused. "Between the last two houses?" she said. "Past the hedges, up the stone steps. But the fog comes quickly. Roads are honest in daylight, less honest when the light goes. I only want to see the valley before dark." She watched him. "If you go," she added quietly, "remember, not every door in Eldhaven is meant to be opened. Some are only there to see if you will try." Someone called for ale. The moment broke. Arlen pulled on his cloak and stepped outside. Evening blurred the edges of the market square. Stalls sagged half-closed. Smoke drifted low between the crooked roofs. The tavern sign creaked once above his head as he walked into the narrow gap between two leaning houses. The path Marta had described was little more than mud and broken stone steps. With every stride upward, the noises of the village faded, the clink of cups, a distant laugh, the scrape of a chair. Mist gathered around his boots and climbed to his knees, until Eldhaven was only a pale smudge below. The path curved around a stand of bare trees. Beyond them the hilltop opened, and the chapel stood there as if it had been waiting. It was smaller and plainer than he had imagined. Heavy walls, steep roof, squat tower, a single narrow window. No colored glass, no carved saints. Only an arched wooden door bound in iron, and a low wall with an iron gate left half open. Arlen stopped at the gate, one hand on the cold bar. For a moment there was only the wind. Then the sound reached him. Several voices, woven into a slow, seamless line of song. The melody did not leap or dance. It moved with patient steps, circling the same few notes as if searching for a place to rest and never quite finding one. He caught no clear words, just long-held syllables that blurred together into something between speech and breath. He realized he was holding his own breath. "You climbed quicker than I expected," a voice said behind him. Arlen turned. Eldrick stood a little way down the path, cloak drawn tight, beard beaded with mist. "You knew I'd come," Arlen said. "Everyone who hears the night voices finds this place sooner or later," Eldrick replied. "Or they leave before they can." He joined Arlen at the wall, but did not step through the gate. "Who is singing?" Arlen asked. "That depends who you listen to," Eldrick said. "Ask the brothers inside, and they'll call it their evening office. Ask the old ones in the tavern, and they'll say the valley remembers its own songs and sometimes borrows a few throats to sing them." "And you?" "I draw stones," Eldrick said. "Other people decide what lives in them." From within the chapel, another phrase rose, one voice lifting above the rest. The note hung in the mist, then slid down into a chord that never quite settled. Half of Arlen wanted to push the gate wide and walk into that sound. The other half remembered Marta's warning about doors. "Should I go in?" he asked. Eldrick finally looked away from the chapel. There was no mockery in his eyes, only a tired patience. "Doors on the road are things you pass through," he said. "Doors in Eldhaven are sometimes things that pass through you. Best to meet them slowly." Mist wrapped itself around the stones. The song vibrated through the wall beneath Arlen's fingers like a quiet heartbeat. He let go of the gate. "Not tonight," he said. Eldrick nodded, as though he had expected that answer. Together they walked back down the path, boots scraping on wet stone. Behind them, the voices in the chapel went on, steady and unhurried. By the time they reached the market square, the first lanterns were lit. The Old Stone Tavern glowed at the corner like an ember in the fog. Marta stood in the doorway, arms folded. "Well?" she asked. "Did you find your view?" "I found a gate," Arlen said. She studied him for a heartbeat, then stepped aside. "Good," she murmured. "Come in. The road will still be there tomorrow." He crossed the threshold. The door closed behind him, the warmth of the hearth rose to meet him, and above Eldhaven, the unseen voices kept singing into the night.